Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to School Science. My name is Luke and this is the Everton Stadium update for the 10th of February 2024. Now before we kick things off, I've got a couple of quick mentions and a couple of things to note before we start off with the video. So first one, if the voice sounds a little bit weird, it's just for the fact that I'm currently battling and pretty much losing to a cold right now, so my throat is a little bit hoarse. And I'd like to say a very big hello to Lucas and George. They are good friends of the family. I've been told that they watch the channel quite often, and they were back in the UK for a small while, and they will be setting back off to Brisbane, Australia. So hello to you guys. Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you so much for following the channel and showing its support. But yeah, right, let's kick on with the video update. So as you can probably see then very quickly, there was a nice little bit of an update with the barrel cladding, or the barrel truss cladding. I don't know how they officially call it, but it's one or the other. I've got it right at some point in the future. But yeah, so they are moving along with that very nicely and very quickly. They are not wasting time with that. So I would like to say probably by the end of either February or probably even by the end of March, I would expect it to be completely done on the east stand and moving on to the west stand. Because it is, I was expecting it to be row by row by row each week, but they've basically went from, I think it was about 2 or 3 rows to now 6 over the space of a week. So they are moving along at an absolute lightning pace. So well done, guys. Keep that up. And now we're moving over to the Fan Plaza. As we're looking down at the moment, they are doing a lot of work in the Fan Plaza right now. So right now they are working on the gates themselves. So the security gates are getting work done to them. So they're actually meshing them in to make them look like they are part of the wall. They are also doing a lot of work with the old railway restoration. Now, if anyone's actually ever been down Regent Road, one thing to note, if you ever go past Wellington Dock, as you're walking down there, you will actually notice an old remnant of the bridge that used to be there that was attached to the old railway. So if you're ever walking down there, just take note of that. You'll actually see it on the wall. It does stand out quite well. So take note, as I said, if you're ever walking down, just have a little gander and see that. It's a nice little interesting part of history. And it's one I always look at and I give it a little, huh. But yeah, as we're moving along the Fan Plaza at the moment, so they are working very hard. They're getting all the stones in place. They've done a lot of restoration to the railways and the little rail tracks and everything. So they are doing everything they can to try and keep the heritage of the site as close to what it was originally. Now, there was actually a thing mentioned by Everton a very long while back. So when they first did the site itself, they mentioned that they wanted this site so that if for whatever reason in the future Everton decide to move to another site, now this probably won't be for another 100 to 200 years, so probably well past my lifespan and a few other viewers of the channel, they will actually be able to demolish everything on the stadium and everything, dig up the old dock itself, and they can have it restored with very minimal effort to what it used to be when it was Bramley Moor Dock itself. But yeah, as we move on now into the south stands, you can actually see they are working very tirelessly to getting all the glass and everything in place. Well, I say that. Looking at it right now, they seem to have stalled a little bit when it comes to the glass on the back wall of it. But you can see there is a little bit of work going on right now down in the south stand. It almost looks like they're trying to start the beginning preparations for the Everton Way, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong completely, but it does look to be the case. It looks like they are actually getting everything into place there. So I won't be surprised if we start seeing some of them stones going down. Now, I do have actually got a stone there myself, and I know quite a few people have got stones there. So when that is all done and dusted and the site is open, I will be walking up and down that south stand to find my stone and find some of my friends' stones as well. It is going to be a very, very arduous task to find it, but it'll be very exciting to actually find it. But yeah, we are looking very good when it comes to actually the progress on the site right now. I am really excited to see how things develop over the course of the coming future. One thing they did actually mention as well, I'm not sure if anyone's actually seen this on the Everton video, Phil Jagielka was actually on the site over the course of the past week, and he was looking around a lot of the internal stuff around the West Stand in particular. So he was actually in the home dressing room, and they've got a hydrotherapy pool in there. Now, I'll be honest, a lot of people on Twitter have mentioned it as well. It looks like one of the communal baths, so I would not be surprised if we see a photo of all the Everton players in there, like one of the old photos from back in the day when they were communal baths and everything for the footballers. So, one thing to notice as well is, I've mentioned this in a previous video, I was expecting this and it's pretty much a given. So the dressing room for the home team is a large spherical shape or round shape. So what it's designed to do is give everyone almost like that front, how can I put this? There's basically the manager is basically, he's got all of the players almost at an equal distance apart from him. So when he's talking at half time or when he's talking pre-match or post-match, he can basically turn and focus on players in a more efficient manner. And there is basically complete state-of-the-art systems that are in place in there. Basically digital whiteboards, a lot of the medical stuff that is needed. It is the complete whole package, the whole shebang. And it will be one I'm going to keep a very keen eye on in the future. Now, as we now go over to the West Stand, they are actually making some decent progress here. Now, you will notice that the video does, well, the movement of the drone does stop when we get to the final third of the West Stand. I do get the entirety of the West Stand, but it does stop just to the fact that the signal around there is fairly limiting. Unfortunately, I am gutted that the size of the stadium does actually prevent us from getting the entirety of the West Stand as close and as low down as possible. But obviously, with drone laws and everything like that, this is pretty much a given. You've got to sort of keep yourself above 50 meters away from people or crowded areas. So that is one thing you got to respect. And as you can see right there, they are actually moving it now towards the north side of the West Stand. So that will be one I will be keeping a very keen eye on as well over the course of the coming weeks. I'm keeping a lot of stuff on my eye over the course of the coming weeks. Have you noticed that? But yeah, as we now move across the West Stand's roof as well as inside the stadium itself, one thing to note, they have actually mentioned on Everton's channel, they're pretty much almost done when it comes to the seating for the upper terrace. So once that's all done and dusted, they'll start on the lower terrace and they'll probably start putting stuff in place for if safe standing gets approved, they can then basically adapt that as quickly as possible so they can utilize the increased capacity. Because I do think if we were to have a 62,000 seater capacity, the only thing that would let us down would be the home fans. I know for a fact Evertonians far and wide will do everything they can to get into that stadium and admire it and enjoy the atmosphere of it. Also, very quick note as well, the West Stand itself, you can actually see the roof is coming along rather nicely. I've noticed one thing that's actually kind of interesting. If you can see on the North Stand itself, and I'll probably mention it when we get the top down of the North Stand itself, they've got a little bit more work going on there. So I'm curious what's going to be going on there. Again, I've probably said this a few times in these videos. I do think Everton could have benefited from a retractable roof. Not like in the sense of, like, I believe it's Wembley. They've got an actual full-on steel retractable roof. I would say maybe even a canvas canopy, just to sort of break things up, because on the dock itself, wind is a large factor, as I myself know, and many people who work on the docks or live close to the docks. Because it's such a flat and open space, any wind that comes through, you're kind of at the mercy of. But yeah, as we're coming across the North Stand at the moment, you can see, well, you will see in a second, the glass itself, they've started on the top layer now, as well as the specialized cuts that are for like the more obscure shaped areas of the actual back wall and roof merge points. And looking down inside of the North Stand, I'm not too sure what's going on, but there is a lot of activity down there. I don't get too much in terms of updates from the videos and everything. I do need to try and get some sources for what's going on around the North Stand. I'm assuming it's more to do with the gates themselves, so when you're actually going into the stadium, so your turnstiles and everything like that, they're probably doing a lot of work on that. But there is a lot of stuff in terms of groundwork and internal work that's going on right now that we cannot see. And this is one thing I did take into account when we first started doing these videos. It's a very sad part of the video that I can't actually see the inside and get my own footage of the inside. But to be honest, I'm more than happy of the external updates that we can see outside. because there's still an awful lot of stuff going on. There was when I first started doing these, this was my biggest concern, was everything externally be done, and then we'd have like a month or two of internal work where I'd be like, okay, so we're all done on the outside now. What's going on the inside? I don't know. I can't make drone footage on the inside, unfortunately. But to be honest, I got a feeling the external and the internal work will probably be finishing roughly around the same time. And I can guarantee you this as well. They will be doing capacity tests on this stadium when it's completed, where you're going to have fans and everything in there. If I am invited to these, I will be getting footage of it, and it will be going on the channel. I promise you that much, so that any international Evertonian can enjoy that footage and experience what it was like being in there. I know it's a video experience and it's not, you know, too similar to actually being in person, but I would like to think of it being the second best thing. But yeah, guys, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. I know this video is a little bit off the cuff a little bit, but I am doing everything I can to try and get these out in a consistent basis, and I'm just happy that you guys are able to enjoy these. But in any case, again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Take care, and peace.